Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the 10-Minute Planner. We talk about events all the time. Hey, it's Cheyenne here, and guess what? The 10-Minute Planner has made it to video. I'm so excited to be doing this. I know in the beginning of the year when I put one of my last messages out, the New Year one, episode, right? I was like, I don't know if I'm doing video because, to be honest, I like to just be nice and cozy and give y'all, the insights on the industry and call it a day. But a lot of people, how you ask God for signs and he gives you signs. And everyone I was listening to about podcasts is like, you gotta do video. You gotta do video. Please tell me you do it. So here I am. Here's the face. Here's the brand. No, but I'm excited to be here in video. We're going to see how this goes. So I figured now that I'm doing video, let me start by doing certain segments. And it will grow. Will this still be 10 minutes? How about each segment will be 10 minutes? And then in the description, you can choose which segment you want to listen to, because I think that would be helpful for a lot of people on the go. Or you could just listen to the whole episode. It's up to you how you want to do it. But I'm excited to be here with you guys, back with some more episodes. And then also I have some great people coming up in terms of interviews and different people in this industry, in this events world. And it's going to be an amazing time, an amazing ride. Right now, just to cover some house rules, right? For the 10-Minute Planner right now, I'm saying we, but it's me and the podcast. We, right, are thinking of doing more of like seasons, right? And each season being 10 episodes. That's kind of like the guideline that I feel is right, and just to stay consistent with it. So as we come out with seasons, as we come out with episodes, I would definitely let you guys know what's going on. Will it probably evolve into something that can be like every week something drops on Wednesday? Sure. That's where I would like to get with it, but I have to be realistic and I have to be strategic in terms of what I do for right now. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. So one of the segments that I came up with was industry moments. So this segment is for, you know what? Before I go into the segment, let's dial it back. So if you don't know who I am, if you're not aware of the podcast, you are listening to and you are seeing the visuals for the 10-Minute Planner, where we talk about events all the time. Now, the intro is going to play at the beginning, so I know you heard that, but I just love that. Anyway, so my name is Cheyenne. I'm the owner of Simply Elegant Events. I plan events. I do all events really, but I like to focus on corporate experiences that are centered around community engagement. And then I also do weddings as well. So I come from a background of I started off doing a lot of the social events. Then I transitioned over into, I'm transitioning, I should say, over into more of the corporate space right now. I currently still do weddings, but if a client wants me to do a birthday party, I'm not going to say no. I just don't advertise for it. So that's me in a nutshell. That's where I'm at right now. And bringing you a part of this journey, this entrepreneurial journey that I have going on. Okay, so getting back into industry moments. This is a new segment that I'm going to do. Basically, this is for my other planners who like to listen. This segment is for anyone who's interested in the industry, who's in the industry in some capacity. It's my thoughts, my research, what I've heard in the grapevine, and maybe I'll do like reactions or stuff like that from what I see and my doom scrolling on social media. But for right now, we're going to do some industry moments. and I'll have like cute music and stuff. We'll figure that part out. But in terms of the industry moments, at the beginning of this month in February, I went to Smart Meetings, my first ever Smart Meetings. And this one was called the Elevate Experiences. We were at Foxwoods. And if you follow me on social media, you saw like I posted, just kind of like a recap video of what was going on. I do have to do the second one still, but hopefully it'll be out soon. But it was so much fun. You met some great people, great suppliers. In terms of suppliers, we met a lot of hotel resorts within the Northeast region. And there's so much out there in New York that who knew, right? So I'm excited to see all the things that come with it. I know that from meeting all these people and the hotels, managers, sales managers or directors, some agencies, some apps for planners, there's just so much that is out there and that is accessible to us as planners, that honestly there was a world that I didn't even think about, right? Because remember, I did say I'm transitioning into corporate. So there's a world that I didn't even think about, right? Which is great. So I'm excited. I got invited to do some site visits of some hotels just to see the capabilities and get a little bit about their floor plan and statement, and what they can do there, kind of events work there, and how I can fit my current clients into their spaces. So it was great, a great time. A lot of laughter, a lot of drinks. I feel like I made some new longtime friends. And it's a conference, so you always have that bubble of friendship where it's like, oh, it's good over here. But everybody's so warm and welcoming, and those who have my number and I've called them already and I talked to them are so inviting. And honestly, in this industry, being an entrepreneur, doing this yourself and figuring out, you can honestly feel like you're doing this alone and doing this by yourself, and that you're messing up all over the place. And it's so nice to know that you have a strong backing, a very strong backing. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It was just, I can't even put it into words how great of an experience it was. I'm going to put here my headshot. You'll see my headshot, right? From it. So we did headshots. They even brought a penguin out. It was really cute. It was really cute. There was a lot of good things, great ideas. I think one thing about having planners in a room is that the planners, they see all the things, and as a planner, you see, unfortunately, but fortunately, you see all the things that went wrong, that you think, all right, you know what, I'm gonna look out for this for my next event. So regardless of your experience there, when you go to work events as a planner, it's just almost like, okay, cool. I see what could have been better. I see what they did. I see what they were trying to do. If it didn't hit the mark, but I'm now looking outside of my scope of what I know, and I'm learning that maybe next time I'll do this. Maybe next time I'll do that, So it's also good in that aspect of it too, because I don't know about my other planners, but when I go to events, I'm just like, you missed the mark with this, you missed the mark with that, and it's so hard not to. It's so hard. And I'm trying so hard just to be in the moment, just to be there, just to be like, hey, I'm here for X, Y, and Z, and that is it. Also too, as planners, when I go to an event, this would be a social event or something. I'm not saying that this happened in a Smart Meeting. Somebody would ask me, well, what do you think about? Because I know you do events, right? So what do you think about the wedding? How do you feel about I'm here to support X, Y, and Z. I'm here to support the bride and groom. They did a fantastic job. This day was about them. It's not about my idea. It's not about my thoughts. And maybe I'll tell that story for another time. But definitely interesting in terms of that. One thing I did pick up from the Smart Meeting Conference, Elevate Experiences in Foxwood, was that luxury is up right now. Okay? Places, cities, towns are putting in, purposely, destinations are putting in luxury hotels at their properties, at their, or they're upgrading their regular resorts to be luxury, because that's the only thing that's selling right now. That's the only thing that's up right now in this world, in this economy. People are still doing events. They're just really slow on, or maybe slow to hit the button and say, okay, I'm going to book you. But people are still doing events. So don't lose out on hope. There still is a need to get these events done. There's a need to travel. There is a need for people to have great experiences, and people will pay money. And the more unique it is, the better it will be, and more enticing it will be for the client. So do not feel any kind of way, okay? If it is not going the way it's supposed to go, or in your mind you think it's supposed to go, right? It's just a weird time, to be honest. It's a really weird time. I think everybody across the board is feeling it in some form or fashion, whether it's like 5% down from last year or a complete halt for the moment, What I've been doing in my time is taking my time to educate, find new ways, new pathways. It's exhausting work, but really caring for the clients that I do have currently, managing those relationships, and then looking for workarounds to get things back up for me. And I mean, I'm a part of some associations too, and the message is still the same, but just want to let you know you're not alone. It's a weird time we're in. It's a weird thing that we have going on, and yeah. So that was my industry moment. And like I said, I'm going to try to keep each segment 10 minutes. So we're just going to move this right along. Okay. So the second segment is the client corner. Welcome to the client corner now. All my clients, all my people who are thinking of having an event, come on, good. Come on. Welcome to the client corner. So let me tell you something. So I just want to explain, and don't worry about my background. I just want to explain that this segment is going to talk to those who want to plan events, right? Who need someone to plan the events, but don't know how the industry works. They've heard of an event planner, but they're like, oh gosh, do I really need one? Can I afford one? Is my budget even a real thing? What do I do if I decide, hey, you know what? I'm throwing this little get together. I just want to do it my best. This moment is for you. You. Okay. So let's get this together. All right. So today's topic I'm going to talk to you about is turning your event vision into reality. Okay. Now, I always say for myself that clients, so when people ask me, hey, Cheyenne, what's your ideal client? A person who has a vision, right? Because how I do things is I work backwards. So I want to hear what your goal is first, and then I plan based on that, right? I don't want you to be like, hey, I got a wedding. And I tell my clients this all the time, even in consultation, because not that I don't work well with people who don't have a vision. It's that it's a whole nother job to create someone's vision, right? And I sign up to execute your vision, not create your vision for you. So, and this is what I mean by vision, right? You walk into the space and you can visualize, get a sense of understanding what you want this room to be. So if you want it to be blue, if you want it to be underwater, if you want it to be in space, if you want it to do whatever, right? And then also even if you can't visualize everything else, right, in terms of like your thought patterns, in terms of what it's going to look like, you at least know what it's going to feel like. I'm going to play this kind of music, that kind of music, da 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 da. We need this food, we need that food because this is important to our culture. That is like a vision. Some people come with an inspiration and it's not necessarily a vision or a plan. So for example, all my Pinterest girlies out there, it's cute online, but somebody had a vision to say, this is what I wanted it to look like. So when you come with a picture to me and say, I want it to look like this picture, but you're not really setting the vision, then that's an inspiration. That's not your vision. That was someone else's vision that they executed. That's your inspiration, but your vision is always supposed to be different from the inspiration. The inspiration is supposed to guide you, okay? So you can use Pinterest boards to complete your vision. You can use Instagram saves. You can put in, some mood words like element, fun, intimate, elevated, things of that nature. But you really have to understand what the event is about and what you want it to be, okay? So we're going to go through this a little bit, and I'm going to run through this quickly. If you do want more information, send me an email, okay? CheyenneL@simplyEevents.com. It will also be in the bio, so you can also click it there as well. So if you don't have a vision for your event, you're planning something, you don't know exactly what you want, maybe you have 2 colors that you want, and nothing is really clicking for you, and you want it to be different and unique and sexy and fun and all the things. Start with how you want it to feel. How do you want your event to feel? Do you want it to be colorful? Do you want it to be relaxed? Do you want it to be or feel like a celebration, like we're in honor this day? Do you want it to be inspiring? Do you want it to be connected? Does it have to be high energy, low energy? Do you want it to be like, ooh, there's powerful conversations happening in this room kind of feel, right? And that helps you decide on what you want to do, right? So if I'm planning like my birthday party, I want it to be a celebration for me. I'm centered around it. So maybe my face is everywhere. Maybe whatever age I'm turning is everywhere. Nowhere in the room that you look is not about my celebration, right? And me being celebrated in the years of life that I have on this earth and stepping into another year. If I'm doing a small intimate dinner, right? Maybe I just want it to feel relaxed and maybe not really a dance floor, but I'm curating. You sit next to this person, I sit next to this person, and like let the conversations, maybe some low music in the background. So those are things to think about. Like the emotion of how you want your guests to feel in the room guides the decision, right? So now we go into a reality check situation. Okay. Reality check, meaning, what's your budget? How much time do you have to plan this? What's the timeline going to look like? How many people can you afford for it to be in this room, right? How many people do you want in the room? Is there any venue limitations? I can't have 100 people in my house. I don't want 100 people in my house, but I can't have 100 people in my house. So if I do something, it's going to be outside. I'm going to have to get a tent. Do I have the budget to get a tent? So things like that. Not every Pinterest works in every venue on your budget. And that's why I said Pinterest is great, but it's your inspiration. You can kind of hold the vision of what you want it to look like in Pinterest, but ultimately you got to combine. I like this, I like that, I like this picture, I like that picture, I like this in this picture, I like this in this picture. I don't like this in this picture, but I like that in this picture. And make it your own vision. Okay? Now, here's the thing. When you get to the reality check stage, now, for me, if you're hiring me to do your event, I would prefer that you know what your vision is, you know what the feel of the event is or what you're trying to do before you even get to me, okay? I want to come in on that third stage of reality check stage. I can help you I can guide you. Like, okay, this is what you want to do. This is what you want it to feel like. You want it to look kind of like X, Y, and Z. Sure, not a problem. What's your budget? What's your timeline? Da, da, da. And then I can help you piece it together. And the next step of, making your vision a reality is prioritizing what actually matters. Important. You cannot spend the same amount of money on everything at your party, each section of your party, each element of an event in total. So based on what you were saying, how you want the guests to feel, what the moment is going to feel like, what the event is supposed to feel like, what's the success rate, like what's going to actually make this event successful for you, I can help you I can guide you through, what matters most, right? So you also want to think about too, what will guests remember the most, right? What matters most emotionally, because people remember emotional moments. And where do you want to invest the money? You can't buy everything for $1. If you're getting catered, food catered and no one's at home cooking, like aunties and moms, and now dads and uncles, because they could throw down too. If you didn't know. If they're not cooking and you wanted to get something catered, what is your budget for that? And this is where people go wrong. A lot of people want to say, all right, $10 per person, but they want steak, a tomahawk steak and shrimp. And it's kind of like, $10 is not even buying you a McDonald's meal nowadays. So we need to be more realistic. You're spending probably about like $40, $50, not for the steak, maybe for a little brunch buffet per person, but in New York anyway. If you're somewhere else, it may be a little cheaper, but New York is, So you got to be realistic with the budget and where you want to spend the money. The top priorities fall between the venue and food. A lot of venues or catering halls have the food with it, of course. So that's what you're really paying for with that. Then it's entertainment and flow. So DJ, band, live, musician, whatever the entertainment is. That's what you're paying for as well. And then photography and memories. So those are the top 3 sections that usually people spend a lot of money on. Some people care more about like paper invitations, signs at their event, or napkins and things of that nature. While that is all good, and I did talk about focal point last season. If you have not heard it yet, go check that out. But that's all good, but you need to make sure that the venue is good. You have somewhere to go. People are eating something or drinking something, whatever, curated bar experience as well. Entertainment and the flow. Do guests have a seat? Is there enough space to dance? What is playing in the background when everyone decides to be silent at the same time? What are you hearing? What's the underlining sound? And then capturing the memories, of course, photography, videography. What style do you like? How do you want it to look? When you look back at these photos, all these things matter. And when you are clear on these decisions, it reduces stress and you have clarity, and you can start processing the steps for the event and create a plan, right? But this is usually where I like to come in to the event planning process, is because I can help you break all of that down, right? So then also now you want to trust the process. Trusting the process is the last step. Once the plan is built, once we decide you care more about this section to match this vision that you have, then we build a plan and we find the people that is going to make the plan come to life. Remember, I said the vendors are your team at events. You hired them to do a job, yes, but they are working with you to create this memory, so to speak, this live moment, or digital, nowadays, but they're working with you to keep this. So once the plan is built, trust your team. You gotta trust me. You gotta trust me. If the vision changes for any reason, and now you've gone I'm going to say rogue, if you've gone rogue from the original point, that we need to have a conversation about. But as your planner, you got to trust the process. I'm going to send you vendors that match what you're looking for. If it's, you get to choose. If that doesn't work, we'll send some more. And then if that second set doesn't work, then we reassess the vision. Because I need to know, what is it that you're thinking of? What are you trying to do? What is missing out of this? Next step, avoid constant changes late in the process. If we are a month out and then you tell me, you know what, Cheyenne, I want to have a singing opera singer 1 month before the event. It's possible. I can make it happen for you. But then we go back to not being clear and not having clarity, and then you're adding in stress for me, all the other vendors, and yourself, because this all has to work to match the vision that you had in the beginning. You see where I'm going there, right? So changes sometimes are unavoidable, but if you change your mind late in the process and you're adding things, that's a whole nother level. That's a whole other level. Sorry, that's a whole other level of change that you should have been discussed and thought about earlier. Okay, so last minute pivots can create stress and costs, of course, because now if I have to hire someone a week before your event, it's going to cost you more. It's more headache. You get less vetting time, and you kind of got to trust the process with that. The strongest events come from consistency and trust. If you trust me to do my job, if you trust your vendors to complete theirs, if you lay back and chill and give it to the team who's running the event, you will have no problem. I think I mentioned this in season 1 too. If you're constantly looking at the fork that dropped on the floor, because mistakes will happen, you are missing the plot. You're missing the entire plot of having a team of professionals behind you to get this event together. Planning is collaboration. It's not control. You can't control it. Once you hire a planner, once you hire a DJ, once you hire whoever, you can't really control it. You can't enjoy your party and then also be behind the DJ booth trying to talk about ones and twos. You can't enjoy the party if you're constantly worried about, well, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Behind the planner. You can't enjoy the party if you're behind your caterer. That's not a good piece of chicken. I don't like that. I don't like how that chicken looks. Let's not serve that one. Serve this one. Throw that one away. You can't do that. You have to, you hire a team. I mean, you can, but you're not going to enjoy yourself. You hire a team for a reason. Let us do our job. Let us do it. In closing, for my client's corner. In closing, the vision is the starting point. It's not the end all be all, right? The magic happens when emotions meets the planning, right? It's in the planning phase, and we're gonna bring the emotion that you want to happen at your event to life. Inspiration has to meet the logistics, right? So if we're gonna have a flying aerial ballerina, we have to make sure she can fit in the space and the venue provided, right? And then your vision meets execution, okay? Whatever you visualize, the feeling that you want to enact, the story that you want to be told, the purpose of the event has to match the execution, okay? So if you focus on feelings, priorities, and trust, your event will come to life beautifully. If you trust your team, I just want to say that if you trust your team that you put together for your event, it's going to come out beautifully. Okay, so a great event doesn't start with perfect details. It starts with a clear vision and the right team to bring it to life, as I've been saying the whole time. So, thank you so much for coming to the Quiet Corner. Alrighty then. So, last section, and we're going to close this up, is the Planner Hotline. So The Planner Hotline is basically, think of it like the gurus, where you ask for relationship advice or any advice to, regular people or to other people, other podcasts. But mine's has to be event focused. Okay. Now, before these start rolling in, let me give you a little bit of guidelines. Okay. Please don't write a dissertation. 1. 2, feel free to bullet point it, because I'm a bullet point girly. I like bullet points. I think in bullet points. So that's neither here nor there. And also, if it's, so like, for example, weddings are complicated because there's a whole relationship involved with it. There's parents, there's traditions, there's all this stuff. That is perfectly fine. We could talk about that all day long. I have experience with that. Part of being a wedding planner is also being a therapist for the process. So I'm okay with that. But if it's like your baby mama wants to fight your new girlfriend because she said hello to her on a Thursday, this is not the right place for. We want to keep it event friendly. And all my colleagues and aspirational planners out there, send me your messages as well. I would love to have you on a Planner Hotline. Possibly a voice line. We'll get there when we get there. Just send me an email. Cheyenne at simplyevents.com. Make sure you put in the subject Planner Hotline, so I know and I can look at it and I can read through it and separate it, right? And I'll give you my honest advice. Okay. Now, for my planners out there, I've been in the industry over 10 years. I am MWBE certified in New York City and New York State. I am also, oh my God, so many freaking acronyms. What is it called? Girl, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat because it's a lot. Let me see if I can find it actually. All right, here we go. MSDC certified as well. Okay, so New York, New Jersey Minority Supplier Development Council supplied. Certified, I should say. So if you need any advice or anything on that, I'll be happy to either find out, connect you with whatever I got going on. I'm happy to share resources because there's enough for us to go around. Again, if you're a client who wants some advice on how to plan their own event, where to look for certain people, how to find certain people, hit me up. And if you're a planner who needs some help, who wants to get in this industry, who wants to be a part of this, hit me up. The Planner Hotline is open. It is open. All right. So I'm excited to take this journey with you. All right. And I'm going to see you at the next episode. And we're going to do big things together. See you soon. Bye.